Elise Cranny. So heats of the 5,000. Obviously, maybe not exactly as you expected, but I'm wondering kind of the initial feelings coming off the truck just now.
Yeah, initial feelings are like a lot of disappointment for sure. I know you always, like we went in thinking like you can't even think about the final, like this is it. And yeah, those last few laps I was just like stay as close. I wasn't exactly sure where 8th was. So like just try to pass as many people as you can till the line. But yeah, pretty bummed. Pretty bummed. I feel like the last 4 years I've made the final, and I feel like I'm in a better spot this year than I have been the last couple of years. So it's like that's always frustrating.
You were holding things pretty strong, with the center group, and then people started to get away in the last couple laps. I wonder what's going through your mind at that point.
Yeah, I think when I was a younger athlete, I think that would have like really freaked me out and just like would be hard to recover from. But I feel like the last couple of years I've gotten better. Like, even probably learning from the 10K too is like it's not over till it's over. And like when people make a strong move, like some people come back, and I feel like I caught a couple people, just wasn't quite enough. Yeah.
Elise, what's been like the toughest part of this whole season? Because it's been a long one, just indoors all the way through now, I guess September.
Yeah, that's a good question. I honestly feel like the toughest part was I opened my season really well with like a 4:20 and 8:29, and like felt the most like I have like myself in probably years. And so I honestly think that was hard, because then I kind of feel like since then it's been like it's just been a struggle. Like I feel like I've had like moments, and like USA's was really good, but I just feel like I've kind of been like battling myself, and like as like cheesy as that sounds, like I just feel like just like wasn't really clicking. Like I feel like that was a really special first weekend because we didn't really have any expectations, and I think we like surprised ourselves as running 4:20. Like there was no expectations, and then I think I was really excited to go into Millrose and compete with like all of the top medalists from the 1500 in Paris, and just like got the flu before that. And then I just feel like every Grand Slam, I just feel like every race was kind of like a struggle. Kind of like today, I feel like just getting gapped and just like trying really hard to reconnect.
I feel like in retrospect, like at the beginning of Grand Slam, like so many people committed to it being like, all right, this is gonna help me come championship season and racing with the tactics. And then like now, I guess like once we got to this point, like is there like a little bit of just sort of not necessarily regret, but just sort of didn't match those expectations of like when you planned out this whole entire season?
Yeah, I mean, like obviously I love racing with Agnes. Like she is incredible, and she went on and run 14:01, but I think the way that she races, it was like hard, because I do still feel like I showed up to this championship like, okay, you've run against a lot of these people way more than you would have in a normal year, but I also feel like I wouldn't say I ran with them, like I would say I was like trying not to get lapped at Grand Slam. And so I think a little bit the way like some of the women's races in particular played out, I felt like maybe probably put a little bit of like a hit to my confidence in the grand scheme of things, which is like, but I do think like I'm grateful for the experience. It also is hard, like looking back, I think there was so much excitement around it, and like I really didn't want to miss out on it and wanted to be a part of it. But looking back, it's like, was it the best idea to like run the 10K and then fly to Jamaica a week later and double? Like I think that kind of got me in maybe a little bit of a hole that took a bit to build out of. But it's hard in this sport. Like I think, especially my first couple of years, like I feel like everyone knows like with Jerry and Bowerman, you just like don't race as much, and I think that's something that I've like wanted to move a little more toward, is like racing a bit more and just getting more of that experience. So in that, like that was really exciting to me, and I think even though I wasn't pleased with most of those performances, there was something about like just like going through the race day, showing up and racing, and like getting more races under my belt.
So I guess the way World Athletics has kind of set this whole thing up now for the next couple of years is like the World Championship will be like the end of the season come the fall. So we're looking at like September, October World Championships going forward. And is that like kind of like a learning curve now? It's like we have Tokyo 2025 and how weird a lot of these championship races have been, that like going forward you guys will probably structure your season a little bit differently to prepare for a late championship.
For sure. I think it's like, it's two things. Like, I think that's something I definitely need to work on. Like I said, I think I get so excited at the beginning of the season, and that's something that I need to work on. Is like, I think even with training is just like not getting greedy too early and looking at it like as, you know, a 10 or 11 month training cycle. So that's definitely something I'm still working on, and like having that longer term approach instead of being like, I'm excited about this one workout this 1 week. But I do like the structure of like ending with the championship. Granted, today it's like, now when you just ask that, I'm like, ugh, like I wish there was a Diamond League or something I could redeem myself, and that is always hard, right? Like when you feel like you put together like a ton of fitness and you just feel like there weren't very many like full opportunities to let it show. But I do like, I like having a championship at the end. I think it's nice to just like be able to fully do a taper and fully be like, this is it, not like, oh, I'm gonna maybe try to hang on like another month of the season.
So I'm wondering, do you do the same training as like say 5 years ago, or do you try to change it up? I mean,
No, it's definitely different. It's been different probably the last like year and a half. Yeah.
And is that just because, I mean, you got sort of to the top of the U.S., but there's a big gap between the top of the U.S. and the top of the world now. You got to be kind of near 14 flat. Like,
Yeah.
did you purposely change it up, thinking I've got to like force it down on this? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely change it up just with a new coach, but that's something like Jared and I definitely want to talk about in this off season, because like, especially like, I've said this a bunch of times, but like watching like the guys in Paris last year, and it's like I was teammates with Grant in college and at Bowerman. It's just like watching a lot of these guys take that next step is like so inspiring, and I think that's made me a little bit like had a little bit of a tough relationship with the sport, because it's like, man, I feel like I'm changing things or like making improvements, but then I feel like when I get to this global stage, it's like even in the 10K, I'm like, I've been like 9th to 12th, I mean 5 times at this point in like the 10 and the 5, and it's like, yeah, it's super frustrating. It's like, what else you need to do in training, or like, you know, and I feel like a lot of people have said this in various races and in the championships, but it's like, it's really hard showing up feeling like you did everything you could and being like, that's getting me 12 and running like 14:30 something, and it's like, that's really hard when, you know, the top of the top are running 14 flat and sub 29, you know. It's like, we need to even get Americans like sub 30 to start, but it's like, even that is like, you know, you want to go after sub 30, but you're still over a minute off, you know. And it's like, yeah, if anyone has any advice, please share, because it's frustrating, and it's hard to like keep that momentum in the sport, because that's what I said. It's like, I never take making a team or like making a final or any of that for granted, but it's also like, man, it's hard when you feel like you're like reliving the same race over and over and over, and you just like show up and like, you know, it's just, yeah, changing training, or, you know, working with a sports psych, or changing nutrition. It's just like dialing all those things, and it feels like when it still gets you the same result, it's hard, which you wouldn't change, you know. Like, you don't want to leave and be like, oh, I got 12 and like I could have done 10 million things better, but it is that hard relationship where you leave and you're like, yeah, like, do I just need to drastically do a different kind of training at this point? Like, I don't know. That's something to figure out.
Maybe move back to the 1500, because it's just.
I mean, I've been thinking about that. I mean, I already said last year, someone asked me after the 10 if I was going to do cross, and I said no. I already told Jared, I was like, I want to just do 8s and 15s next year. I want to run 158 and 355, so that's what I want to do. So I'm happy to take a break from the 10 and the 5.
355 might as well run the American record.
Yeah, you know, 34.9. So yeah, I mean, I think I want to go back and work on that too, because I do think, like, you know, you're asking about training, but I definitely will say, like, even working with a sports psych, it's like, it is tough mentally to like, when you feel like you've run the same race, like it's hard to break out of that. So I think just like doing, which is really cool, like with COVID, getting to have 5 championships in a row. But I definitely don't think I quite realized exactly what that's taken just to be like on every single year for the last 5 years.
World Cross?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It is cool that it is in the U.S., but yeah, I'm just like super excited right now about 8s and 15s and just like trying to do a bunch of speed and get kind of that sort of form back. But we'll see. Never say never.
Good job.
Thank you.